this episode of The Ultimate Fighter: The Aftermath, we'll take on the controversies of the latest episode. Was Matt losing it, or was he just playing strategy?
He played retard to me. We have personal conversations and I say, man, that kid is bad. No, we need to go to the hospital.
Was Scott rocked in the first round?
And then I just remember walking into a straight left, and it was just boom. And after that point, I don't remember much of the first round.
Should there have been a third round?
It's like, Jesus, third round's going to suck, you know? But we both would have went out there and let them fly.
And we'll take an exclusive look at next week's episode of The Ultimate Fighter right here on The Aftermath.
Hey, I'm Mestre Waldomiro, and welcome to The Aftermath, a weekly roundtable where we discuss the questions and controversies inspired by The Ultimate Fighter. Today I'm here with Matt Mitrione from Team Rashad, Scott Junk from Team Rampage, and Coach Junior Perez from Team Rampage as well. Guys, welcome to our little show.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, so we'll just go ahead and jump into the first question. This is from Santiago G. He writes, with Team Rampage's losing streak, you would think that they would shake things up and change their strategy by now. Yeah, Junior, so you're 6 fights down so far. Did you guys do anything to change your coaching approach yet, or was it just kind of you had to keep going with what you were doing?
On that time, you can change anything. You just, have to keep your plan. What I think is a great plan. One thing I don't think the TV shows is like our team is very united. We give a lot of support to our fighters when the guys need. After you knock down or after you sleep in there, you need a doctor attention. Yeah. I can do anything on that point. When you fight finish, bro, it's done. But before we give a lot of support to our fighters, sometimes you have to slap in the face, sometimes you have to pat a little bit. But we have a great team.
We couldn't change up our strategy. They had the ball the whole freaking round, you know what I mean? We had the ball in the first 2 picks, which when they asked who wanted to fight, Coach, I raised my hand instantly because when I came in on peeking because I thought we had to fight to get into the house. And then we got there and they go, okay, you guys are in. I'm like, oh, we don't have to fight to get in. Like, no, all 16 guys are in. So then when the teams were picked and they're like, oh, who's in shape, who wants to fight? I was like, me, let me fight first. I was honestly peeking already. And then they're like, oh, okay, we'll think about it. And then they went with the way we went. But once we lost the ball, we never got it back.
Our big mistake on the show is like poke too much the other team. Because, come on, you don't poke your opponents and make the guys angry. I think our team make like the job for the coach because we make so much jokes against the guys there. The guy's pissed. Sometimes if the guy think you are cool, the guy come to fight, oh, that guy is so cool, I don't want to hit him hard. You on the show, like everybody think you are cool. And go there, oh, I'm here, he's so cool,
Yeah.
But we poke too much. People know his case because he knows like the target for jokings. But some guys there want to kill our teammates because the jokings. I don't like that. They're serious to win the show, not to make jokings.
I think you guys are obviously pretty happy with things at this point. Were you thinking that just kind of what was working and you wanted to keep going with it, or did you think that things were going to have to change up eventually?
By this time we realized that we were going to start fighting each other. So we realized that things were keep the same path, but things were starting to get awkward.
Yeah, I was wondering that. In practice, was there some division?
It got weird for sure. And like you said, I mean, having a couple Jackson guys in with the Jackson team, it was, and Roy touched on it in one of the articles.
3 guys, yeah.
Yeah, and it was coaching and then coaching. It was a totally different environment, and especially in that situation as we progressed, it got really awkward.
All right, well, we'll jump into the next comment. This is from Automatic72. More and more we're seeing NFL vets get into MMA. I wonder how the two compare in terms of training and mental toughness needed to compete. Yeah, Matt, so you had a successful career in the NFL. What kind of got you into MMA, and did you see any similarities in the training? Or
the training's completely different. You train different energy systems, the power output, power endurance, explosiveness. I've been trained for explosiveness all my life because you work for 6 seconds and you rest for 30, 35. And here, if you work for 6 seconds and rest for 30, you're getting carried down a stretcher. So it's a pretty substantial difference of how the training goes.
So MMA guys are tougher, right?
There's different ways. I think that football guys are pretty damn tough for the most part. Granted, I'm biased there, but I think MMA guys are grinders for sure.
Yeah. Well, like you guys both said, like the mental game is so much a part of it. Did you notice any transition, like the sports psychology aspect of like competing in football and then competing in fighting? Or did you have to totally change gears?
I felt that I got tougher when I started fighting, basically, because I started wrestling, and wrestling shape is by far the best shape anybody can be in. Like, I've done stand-up and stuff like that, but wrestling is by far and Jiu-Jitsu on the ground, that's so tiring. Like, football, it's boom, explode, explode, explode. Okay, take a break, walk back, laugh with your boys, talk story, line up, explode, 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 take another break. Oh, we don't make it a first down, okay, now we're off the field. Now we get to kick back, drink water, and wait till we get back on the field, you know what I mean? So, fighting, you don't get a break. You got to keep moving, especially if somebody's coming for you in better shape or have hurt you. You know what I mean? There's no break time. There's that 1 minute that feels like 20 seconds in between rounds. But other than that, the fight game is way harder, I think, than football.
All right. Well, we'll go on to the next user comment from Smiling Fists. He writes, Mitrione seems to be at the center of much of the house drama. Sometimes it seems like strategy, other times just the breakdown. What's going on?
There was a good portion. There was one primary catalyst, and then once that situation got touched off, that my team just didn't. It was not a team anymore. It was Rashad's group versus me versus everybody else. So once that situation happened, it was like, okay, I'm going to manipulate every variable possible in this to make sure that things work out the way I think that it'll be best for me. So it was a very good portion of strategy. In that same breath, though, I mean, I started to go nuts. I mean, I'm pretty unbalanced as it is, So the fact that, no, right, you kidding? Who would have thought? So in that situation, I started going a little bit nuts, But I think everybody does, like you said, in that house. It's a unique environment.
He started acting there. Like for a few weeks, he played retard to me. We have personal conversations, and he said, man, that kid is bad. No, we need to go to the hospital. Today, fine, it's fake. I'm concerned about you. We talk inside there. Say, man, that kid he needs a doctor now.
Oh, people thought I was nuts. Like I said, it is what it is, but it was strategy, and it was a little bit nuts. I'd probably say 80-20.
So, one thing I showed in the episode was the note that you gave Scott. Scott, what was your take on getting the note?
I looked at him and I was like, you're better than this, bro. Like, I gave him, you're better than this, and I just kind of went, yeah, whatever, and I walked away. And then, because I was wondering what he was doing, we were by the pool table and by the scale, and he goes, hey, come here. And I was like, what's up? And he goes, like this. I'm like, and I look at the note. Oh, I didn't want to fight you, but Mike was scared to fight you, and I was thinking, come on, bro. Like, you're better than this. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Why? Like, seriously, like, Mike Wessel fought Anthony Hardunk on 3 days' notice. Why would he be scared to fight me? You know what I mean? Nobody should have been scared to fight anybody in that house. So I was like, okay, Matt's playing games, stay focused. I know what I got to do.
The note was, like I said, I was working so many different angles and I was starting to go nuts a little bit. That was the one thing that I did that I was really wrong on. That was really bogus of me to throw Wessel under the bus. There was really no provocation for it. I did it. And in hindsight, that's the one thing that I did. I was like, bad business, dude. I didn't know Mike knew. And I was planning on telling Mike, hey, look, dude, I did you dirty. Let everybody know if you're watching this, or for the 15 million people watching this at home, I was wrong. I was completely incorrect by doing that. And Wessel, I'm sorry, dude. I know you're not afraid or intimidated in any kind of situation whatsoever. That was something that I drummed up. So I apologize, bro.
Okay, well, we're going to go take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right here waiting for you. When I got stood up,
I honestly thought I was working enough, because it doesn't show. But ask Matt. When I was on top of him, I was doing things like CPR to him. Like I was giving him rats in the chest. I was elbowing his stomach. When I was there, I was working to try not to let him recover. So when he was holding my head and hitting me like this, I was constantly pushing into his body, pushing into his chest.
That's pretty.
Yeah,
that's
so
pretty
he couldn't
cool.
recover. You know what I mean? Like if
Did you feel that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of affected your breathing.
He could hear it.
Yeah.
Huh?
So every time he would, and I would try to watch him, and when he would try to breathe in, I would give him like 2 pumps in the stomach, or just try to dig my elbow in and sink it in, and then that's when I would try to come over the top. And I could have swore, even though I was on top. He was still working too, but I was working to where I was watching him, and when I would feel him hit me, then I would come over the top. Like, I would let him hit me, because that kind of punches, he's not going to knock me out. You know what I mean? It's not going to finish me like that. So as soon as I felt his knuckles hit me, I would bomb over the top, and a couple of them landed square. Like, I saw them. And then I hear Josh going, "You got to work." And I'm thinking to myself, bro, like, I'm working. Like, I don't know how he thinks I'm not working. I stood up twice to try to pass and try to drop a bomb or something. And then he stood us up. So before I stood up, I did it again. I gave him a good, like, push in the belly, and then he stood us up. So I stand up, and I remember looking at Matt, and I was dead tired. But I remember looking at Matt, and he was like, "Oh, I got to get up." And then you could hear Rashad them going, "Get up, don't you fucking quit. Don't you get up now, get up." And he got up, and his face was just like, boom, and then he started using the ring. He started moving around, and at that point, it was kind of like a confidence builder, because I knew he didn't want to stand in the pocket anymore, so he was using the whole cage and moving around. But it was just like, man, I was so just fatigued, and I couldn't get to him, and I couldn't explode anymore. I was just like, and then like people were saying, "Oh, you should have took him down again." And I go, "Yeah, but it's easier said than done." You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't agree with the result for the fight. I think he started the round by damage, you know. If you damage your opponent a lot, and at least can go to the third round, because it's like a great fight. You fight good there too, but you'll be very damaged too. So I will bring it to the third round to see.
Were you expecting him to go to the third round, or?
I was prepared for it. I thought the first round went pretty well for me. So I kind of figured that might carry some weight into it, but I figured it'd just be 10-9. You know, I didn't think it would be, and I definitely don't think I won the second. But that's what I was saying. Maybe it was a 10-8 just because I think I dropped a handful of times. But I don't know. But I mean, I was at the time I was ready to go. I honestly, like, the way my body felt, I was like, geez, this third round's gonna suck. You know. But we both would have went out there and let them fly. You know, we would have banged them up.
Okay. So hopefully that answers some of your questions about this week's matchup. Now let's take a look at next week's episode of The Ultimate Fighter.
This week, this is it. The moment Quentin Jackson goes on a rampage as his team faces the humiliation of losing every single fight. Now, all their hopes rest with Marcus Jones. Can the former pro football player get the win his team so desperately needs? The Ultimate Fighter, heavyweights, Wednesday at 10 on Spike.
Okay, Marcus and Mike will finally get to step in the octagon next week. It should be a good one. So tune in to Spike this Wednesday at 10 p.m. for The Ultimate Fighter. And if you have any specific questions for the remaining fighters, go to tuf.spike.com and post your thoughts under the comments tab. Thanks for watching. I'm Amir Sadal, and I'll see you next week on The Aftermath.